Welcome back, everyone, and hello to those who just tuned in for the session. It's Zaina again, your MC for today. So time really flies. We're down to our final session for the whole of the event. Both psyched and sad, but emotions aside, before we start, let me quickly go through the housekeeping rules for those who just joined. All right, so the session will be 1 hour and 30 minutes long with the presentation and Q&A section as well at the end. So don't forget to put in your your questions in the Q&A box. And if you want to interact with the speaker, feel free to just type in anything you want in the chat box. But please be mindful and respectful when you do so. For those who aren't able to stay throughout the whole session, it's okay because we have the recorded sessions that will be up on our Facebook pages at TalentCorp Malaysia or Seeds Job Fair. And we would really, really appreciate it if you could fill up the feedback forms right after we finish the session to help us improve. That would be really, really great. All right, so now we have our speaker, Mr. Sean Han. I think he is in the call with us. Hi, Sean.
Hi, Zayana. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Cool. Your video is right. You're in. Cool. How are you, Sean, today?
I'm doing really good. How about you?
Good, good. All right, so I'm just gonna give a brief introduction of you to everyone here. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's completely fine.
All right. So Sean is the regional talent and learning consultant with LinkedIn, where he focuses on empowering talent leaders and hiring managers to embrace strategic talent recruiting. Prior to LinkedIn, Sean was a co-founder of a home healthcare company offering a complete senior care ecosystem before pivoting into consultancy in a global IT service provider. So today he will be sharing his insight with us to help you understand how to utilize LinkedIn so that you stand out amongst recruiters, and most importantly, why you're missing out if you don't. So over to you, Sean. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen now, and just give me 1 second. Okay. So thank you very much, everybody, for taking your time to join me today. Again, my name is Sean. I'm the talent and learning consultant at LinkedIn Malaysia. I'm really excited to welcome you to this webinar, Recruitment in the New Age, a program that we are running in conjunction with TalentCorp and Seeds Job Fair to help educate members, customers, nonprofits, and many more on how to build a profile that tells your personal story and hopefully help you connect to opportunities on LinkedIn. Now, before we dive in, I want to give you a better idea of how we will be using your time today and what you can expect from this session today. So when I first took the call with TalentCorp to prepare for this, I was told that this session is to prepare students like you for adulthood. And I had to ask myself, what is adulthood and what lies ahead of you? Well, if you look at the urban definition of adulting, it's this: basically to be a responsible adult and accomplish mundane but necessary tasks. But most people, and I believe most people would agree that as you take on more responsibilities in life, you will also grow as an individual person. But in reality, this is what adulting is all about. And you get paid, you pay bills, you cry for 2 weeks, and it all repeats all over again the next day. And by the time night comes, you just want to fall asleep at 9 p.m. on weeknights. And forget about that. You'll also be looking forward to the next Friday or the weekend so you can finally catch some rest. But trust me, as ironic as it sounds, these are also the little things in life that I personally truly enjoy. So again, let's talk a little bit of our agenda for this session today. We're going to be getting to know LinkedIn a little bit better. We're going to talk a little bit more on how to network on LinkedIn, build thought leadership, explore LinkedIn, and maybe do a little bit of Q&A at the end. But I will also be accepting questions throughout the session, so feel free to ask your question to leave some questions at the Q&A section down below, and Zayana is going to ask them. So I just want to quickly, sum it up really quick. We're not going to be doing a deep dive into how we're going to set up your profile or how we're going to help you apply for jobs, because I believe those are pretty straightforward. Instead, we're going to be keeping to the theme of personal branding, and we'll dive more into the networking and building thought leadership aspect of LinkedIn. Okay, moving on. First of all, we all know that LinkedIn is a social network platform, very similar to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or even TikTok. LinkedIn is all about you, your professional community, and helping you connect to opportunities. Now, we know that in life, we don't get anywhere by ourselves. We don't get anywhere alone. It takes a community of people to help us be successful. So the question for us today is, how can we leverage the professional community that is LinkedIn to reach your definition of success in your own professional career? After all, I think we can all agree that success is when who you line yourself up with what you do. So maybe a question for you guys, some fun questions. I want to ask, drop you guys some quiz questions on, how well you guys, anybody over here knows about LinkedIn. First of all, does anybody know who our CEO is? Our Chief Executive Officer. And feel free to put your answers in the chat. The reason why I'm asking this is because I think everyone knows who Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook is. So I just want to quickly ask if anyone knows who the LinkedIn CEO is. I'm going to look at the chat. Nope. I guess, yeah, what is his name? And I believe we have Mariam. Adam, that's not me, unfortunately. Yes, yeah, Ayman, you are absolutely right. Ryan Roslansky is the CEO for LinkedIn. Yeah, that's him. In fact, Ryan has only officially been a CEO for 4 months now, but before that, he was in charge of products and user experience for 11 years before finally making the move as the big man. And moving on, our vision. Our vision, that is to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce, drives everything that we do here. And not just from a member experience, from your experience, but also how we deliver value to our clients. And I wanted to just quickly add on, this is not really relevant to our session today, but I just want to quickly give you an idea of what we really do as an organization. We help our clients, corporate clients, SMEs, or so even corporate or SMEs, hire better, develop the workforce in a rapidly changing world, build brands, and sell better. Now, the reason why I'm showing, I'm bringing this up right now is because at the very end of this session, I actually have some free goodies to share with the rest of the audience today, okay? So just hang in there. So again, Why should you be on LinkedIn? And why bother with personal branding at all? When you think about why you use social network platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, we use these social network platforms to really spend time. In contrast, members from around the world come onto LinkedIn to invest time. Big difference. We come to LinkedIn to build a professional profile, to connect, to share ideas, to get advice from business leaders, and to consume relevant professional content. We certainly do not come to LinkedIn to watch TikTok videos or cat videos for that matter. Now, if you take into consideration of what has happened in the past couple months, COVID-19, during the MCO, oftentimes, and especially with the rise of TikTok, we're seeing a lot more people putting up dancing videos and all that. These are the kind of videos that we do not see on LinkedIn. Instead, we'll see much more relevant contents like industry trends or how our business is affected, especially small businesses for that matter. So yeah, we come on to LinkedIn to spend time. And what that member does, what you do on the LinkedIn platform allows us to map out what I call the real life global workforce. And you are part of them. And looking at these data across, we have around 706 million members globally today. And looking at these data across, we can actually pull some connection into this. For example, somebody who might be looking for a job with the right skill sets. We can then ask the question, how can we get you get connected with the company that is hiring for the role that you're looking for? And how can we get you fundamentally interested to work for that specific company? At the same time, in order to get the right job, we also need to know what skills is required to do that job well. Now, we also keep track of number of schools because I believe you can agree with me that people often gather skills early in their career through schools, not actually through their first job or so on and so forth. They actually gather it through schools, whether it's extracurricular activities or even in their own classroom sessions. So this is the regional snapshot in Malaysia. This is the numbers that we have in Malaysia currently, presently. Just a couple months ago, we only had 5.7 million members, and that number has grown to 6.3 million members. So if some of you over here are LinkedIn members now, I congratulate you because, thank you for being part of this movement with us, and thank you for joining me in this session. But now that you have a better idea of the power of LinkedIn, now that you've gotten a better feeling of who we are as a company, let's shift gears and shine the spotlight back on all of you in the room today. Now, most of you are students, so I want to show you some more information on, students on LinkedIn. As you can see, majority of the, there's around 338,000 students on the LinkedIn platform. And with such large numbers, 338,000, the question is then, how do you as an individual person differentiate yourself from one another to some of the potential employers that you have an eye for? Again, guys, feel free to ask some questions. I want to share with you some top industries that are hiring, functions, and roles that are highly in demand in Malaysia. If you look at these three things, industries, function, and roles, one consistent pattern that we are seeing right here is the ever-growing demand for IT professionals. So hands up, whoever that's in this call, who are IT professionals and who are in sales or even marketing. So when we talk about roles in demand, these are the roles that LinkedIn is able to gather. And the top 5 of them are finance, corporate finance roles, again, IT consultants or IT engineers, project managers, HR specialists, and software developer. So if you're you as a new graduate or you as a professional that is just entering the workforce, if you're wondering what kind of jobs that are high in demand that I'm capable to apply for or even capable to deliver in that job, and these are the ones. Okay. Did I miss a slide? Just hold on. Yeah, okay. So how do we network on LinkedIn? But more importantly, why do we network at all? Well, networking strengthens your business connections that we all know. We network to get fresh ideas, to get new perspective, advices, and last but not least, and more importantly, to help you advance your career. Did you know that LinkedIn members are 9 times more likely to get hired when referred? And guess what? Getting referrals is so easy. If you have a connection on LinkedIn who works for a company you're interested in, simply reach out and ask for one. Because good things comes to those who ask, right? And interesting note, I believe I have some of my colleagues here on this call. When LinkedIn decided to open their first office in Malaysia, we did not just apply for the job. We actually got a referral to get into the company, including me. So it's a simple thing. We see on the news that the company is doing something, opening a new office, or if there's a company that you want to work for, really just take the time, build your connection, reach out to the people who might add some value to your own personal career. Now, with millions of jobs and millions of recruiters out there hiring, finding your next job on LinkedIn is really easy. So here are some tips and tricks to see how LinkedIn and your community can help you land your next role. Now, just sharing some 4 key points here about your profile, but we're not going to do a deep dive into the details. This is basically your online resume that you often see in other traditional job boards like JobStreet, Monster, or Indeed.com. You can simply go on LinkedIn.com. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile already, go on there, register your account, set up your account, make sure you take a great photo and not the kind of photo that you often put on Instagram or Facebook. You want a professional looking photo with the proper lighting. You want to put in your education, internship, or even share some achievements that you've done in your past. It doesn't have to be something amazing. It can be just something as simple as, hey, you've participated in a volunteer initiative in your school, or even on your free time, so on and so forth. And last but not least, make sure you play around with your privacy settings, because you don't want to shut yourself out to the professional community and they won't be able to find you at all. You want to make sure that you're as visible as possible to them. But this is what we'll be focusing on, okay? How do we help you build your professional network? And number 1, we want to help you, build your professional network. Number 2, we want to help you discover existing connections, search for new connections, and last but not least, to expand that network strategically. So can anyone in the room name someone who's in their network? It can be a business leader, it can be a family member, it can be your high school mates. Just share with me, can anyone in the room name someone? It can be Mark Zuckerberg. No, nobody has a LinkedIn profile. That's okay. Well, believe it or not, whether it's on LinkedIn or offline, everyone has a network, though you may not realize it. Networking occurs every time you meet new friends or acquaintances, volunteer in your community, or through your other social activity, such as participating in this webinar session. Now, I gotta emphasize on the fact that networking is a key factor in your career advancement. In fact, over 50% of our members are currently employed, found their new job through a personal connection. You can choose who your first degree connection is based on your industry, your field of expertise, and that will open up doors to even more professionals out there. And remember, your network depends on your own personal customization. So be really diligent on who you want to add as a connection on LinkedIn. That way, your news feed will be a lot more personalized and, most importantly, relevant, including the contents that you will be sharing to your own network. Now, research shows that your weak connection and those originally in your second or third degree networks are often more valuable for your job search than your first degree connection, because their network are much more diverse than your own. For example, just an example, my neighbor's sister could be working at Amazon. I've only met her once, but if I want to work at Amazon, she can help me find jobs there and connect me with people in my field. Each time you connect with someone new, their own extended network becomes more accessible to you. And just some personal story for you here. When I saw the news that LinkedIn was opening an office in Malaysia, I reached out to my sister's boyfriend's network, who happens to work in the Singapore office, and she managed to bring me into LinkedIn Malaysia, and that's how I've managed to secure my job at LinkedIn. The same thing can apply for you. On LinkedIn, you can customize your connection request to explain why you are interested in adding a second or third degree connection to your network. Whether it is to learn about their career journey through an informational interview, or even just as simple as requesting a job referral. Most LinkedIn members often and always will respond to a request for referral. And more than 60% of the workforce has referred someone to work at their company. While it can feel uncomfortable or nerve-wracking at first to network with someone new for this purpose, it has really become a professional norm that might just lead to your next career opportunity. In LinkedIn itself, we even have a program for a strong referral program. If you go to any other large companies like BAT, or even pharmaceutical companies, or Facebook or Instagram, so on and so forth, they all have a really solid employee referral program. Fresh graduates or professionals like you should definitely take advantage of that. So these are some examples of some good messages that you can leverage on. I'm going to leave this screen here for a little bit longer. I'm not going to go into detail, but just in case any of you want to use these templates to reach out to other professionals out there, feel free to take a screenshot or even take a picture, and then you guys can just put in your own twist to it. Okay. Just remember that the messages that you send out, try to keep it short, because people's attention span is just very limited, especially mine. I live in the digital age today. My attention span is just not long enough.
Hey, Sean.
Okay. Yes. Hey, Zayana.
Since you want to put this up for a bit, let's ask you some questions, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So the first question we have is, do you see a pattern being hired without degrees? With this pandemic making universities costly, are degrees necessary, or should we be moving towards skills, experience, and certificates?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I actually have another story to tell you. So remember that I talked a little bit about the different business lines that LinkedIn has. So one of the line of business that we have is a marketing solution team. And the one that's leading the marketing solution team, his name is Ray, and he does not have a degree. He's only pursuing his degree right now. So in the past, the years that he's built up his career, he's actually done it without a degree. what he's done so far is to build on his past experience, he's built his skill sets, and get the necessary certificate to be seen as an industry expert.
Right.
So that's what he did.
Yep, cool. All right then, I'll leave you to it.
Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question. Really, I understand that COVID-19 has put us to live in a new normal today, but the way we build our career hasn't really changed. As a matter of fact, we really just got, degrees are important. Degrees really provide us the necessary life skills to go out there, to get our job, and so on and so forth, but it's not often the only way. There are many other alternative ways to secure your first job or second or third job, okay?
Great, thank you, Sean.
So these are actual messages that are sent to my colleague, and here are the reasons why they are not recommended. As you can see, it's just a simple one-liner, thanks for connecting, hope you're well, or even something to do with, that has something absolutely nothing to do with LinkedIn at all, or even the purpose of the connection. It's just to wash hands because of COVID-19, which is, I guess, is good, but at the same time, it's not really relevant. And last but not least, something that has to do with this, it's really not recommended when you want to send out a professional connection to someone. So yeah, just try to avoid any inappropriate emojis, any messages with no professional intent or purpose, any objectification, definitely not recommended, no content, or too wordy. Okay, so moving on. Now, we want to talk about the next part, that is to discover existing connections. For you professionals out there or fresh graduates out there, if you're just starting out, if you just open your first profile and you only have, say, 10 to 20 connections, feel free to go to, I'm just going to turn on my laser pointer. Just give me a second there. So feel free to go to your dashboard and click on My Network. And once you're at My Network, LinkedIn will always recommend you connections in the roles that you're interested in, or people that you may have worked with in the past. Okay, so this is where you can kind of discover friends and family that you were not connected with before, or even current or former colleagues, or current and former managers. So you may know features actually improves over time as you continue to build your wider network. Okay. If you don't want to follow them, some of the times you see a lot of business leaders out there that are sitting on the LinkedIn platform and they're really active on LinkedIn, and you want to connect with them. But oftentimes they may not be checking their LinkedIn daily, or they may have assistants that are managing their own profiles. If it's not easy for you to connect with them, what you can do is just quickly follow them instead. You can opt to follow them because you still want to receive their posts, updates. You want to look at their activities, and you can still message them regardless. It's just a different way of building your connections. Just like on Facebook, you can follow pages. In this case, you're just following these business leaders. Now, there are two images on this slide. You can also follow companies. You can explore employers that you are interested to work for by following their company page over here. So let's just say if you want to work for Starbucks, you can go to their Starbucks page, you can follow them. Or the second thing that you can do is you can also go to their live page over here. Okay, and once you follow a company or you follow their live page, and now you'll be part of the number of followers, every time a company starts, when they run a live event, and most of the time the live events that you see on the LinkedIn platform talks about their products, or even for the purpose of getting interns to come in to talk about their experience working at this specific company, you will be alerted this, and you can actually follow their live events, just like that. So I'm sure you've seen live videos on Facebook. The kind of live videos that you see on Facebook are people selling products or doing auctions or biddings or even just streaming their gaming stuff like that. I'm not a gaming fan, but I like watching these videos for some reason. But on LinkedIn, you will not be getting all this. Oftentimes, the kind of live event that you'll be seeing on the LinkedIn platform are professional contents. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. I'm sure most of you are officially afraid of the real world now, but don't be, because that's what we're here for. Do we have any more questions from the audience today, Ziana? And otherwise, I'm happy to move on.
Yep, we do have a few actually. Do you wanna? Should I just go through some of them?
Yeah, please.
All right, cool. So one of the questions is from Zoraida. Her question is, I want to build a personal brand on LinkedIn, but I'm unsure how often do I need to post content on my feed.
I understand. So Zoraida, right? Just be patient with me. I would love to answer your question right now, but we're actually going to address this in the second half of this session. So after this slide, we're going to be talking a little bit more about that. So I can go back into your question. I'll address it as I go along, okay?
All right, cool. Let's just go to the next question then. You mentioned industries and jobs that are available now, but what are some industries that we should be avoiding right now?
Okay, so COVID-19 has hit a lot of different industries right now. LinkedIn. Our LinkedIn team actually ran like 2 separate sessions in the past, just a couple weeks ago, actually, addressing what are the industries that are actively hiring for right now, and what are industries that you should be avoiding, so on and so forth. Really, to give you a much more politically correct answer, there's no industries you should be avoiding. I would say you should be focusing on the roles and the skill sets that are required for the roles that are highly in demand right now. If you really think about it, the world is going through digital transformation. That means a lot of companies out there are forced to transform themselves. And in order for them to transform themselves, they also need to hire for roles that never existed 5 years ago. And that job itself will continually evolve for the next 5 years to come. So by focusing on upskilling yourself and making sure that whatever roles that you're trying to apply for, you have the right skill set to apply for those roles, is definitely more important than what industry you have to avoid. But to really answer your question, what industries are getting hit the worst right now is definitely going to be any industries on travel and tourism. Manufacturing was hit really bad in the past couple months, but has kind of bounced back. Finance industries were hit bad as well, but it kind of bounced back over the past couple weeks. So I would say, in terms of like labor market recovery or employment recovery, we're seeing that right now. So for you fresh graduates or new professionals, I wouldn't worry about industries to avoid it. Instead, we should focus on self-development, professional development.
Great, thank you, Sean. One last question we have is that if I join a conference, which section should I put it in LinkedIn? Another one would be position involvement in organization. So where do they put all this kind of involvement in their LinkedIn profile?
Okay, I caught the first part, but can you repeat the second part of it? So I caught the conference part, but what's after that?
The second one is position or involvement in an organization. So probably core curriculum activities. Yeah.
Cool. How about this? What I'll do is I'll quickly share with you my screen, and I can show you my own LinkedIn profile. I think we do have time. Yeah, we definitely do have time. So what I'll do is I'll share my screen. And then we can talk a little bit about that. Okay, so this is my LinkedIn profile. guys, feel free to send me a connection request. More than happy to accept them. And if you have any questions post-webinar, more than happy to address them as well. Just get to reach out to me via the LinkedIn.com platform. So this is my LinkedIn profile. There's a couple things that you can do here, maybe some quick tips as well. Make sure you take a professional photo that really stands out to potential employers out there. Make sure you put in a nice banner out there. It can be a representation of your company's banner, or it can be a in this case, I just put Malaysia's background in it because yesterday was Malaysia Day. So obviously I just, I'm kidding. Anyways, as we scroll down, we can put in our own experience, our past job experience in here. Okay, our education especially. If you have any licenses or any certifications that you've taken in the past, make sure that you share it on the LinkedIn platform, because a lot of employers do value someone who has a growth mindset. A growth mindset is something that a lot of employers nowadays pay a lot of attention to. You want to know if this person is adaptable, if this person wants to improve themselves. And if you're able to showcase that, hey, not only this person has proactively put in the effort to upskill himself, he's also learned to take on new skill sets that are completely out of their scope. He's willing to take on, put himself in uncomfortable position and adapt to new situations, okay? So if you've attended conferences, or if you've done any volunteer experience or anything that has nothing to do with, that doesn't apply to the rest of these, feel free to put it under your volunteer experience. Okay. Accomplishments, languages, or organizations that you were involved in, or even interests, feel free to put all of them in here. And LinkedIn actually helps you keep track of whether or not your LinkedIn profile is an all-star profile. So we will, there's like actually a bar over here to show you how well you're doing in terms of completing your LinkedIn profile. And if you manage to kind of like do most of it, you get an all-star recognition. Okay. And by the way, guys, this is something that we're not going to go into in detail, but I just want to quickly talk to you about your about section. This is your profile summary. Make sure you sit down and spend some time to curate a profile summary that is personal to you, but at the same time, that is not too long, but that is attractive to a potential recruiter or to a potential employer. Okay, and always put a call to action down here. So because I'm in sales, I always put my call to action and put my my work email in here. But for you, it can be as simple as, I'm on the lookout for new opportunities. Feel free to reach out to me via email or your personal email over here. Okay. And maybe another quick tip for you guys is that, hey, if you want to let recruiters know that you're open to work, feel free to use this. Click on this button, put in the titles that you're interested in, job locations, and so on and so forth. Just add it to your profile, and recruiters from other companies will be able to view you and reach out to you, okay?
Yep. So one question was that someone asked, what does it mean to be an all-star or the all-star? Yep. Yeah,
so let's just say if I didn't put in my profile summary, I would not be recognized as an all-star then. What does all-star means? It means that we want to make sure that we maximize your profile potential to your connections. We want to make sure you get as many people as possible to come and view your profile. That's what it really means. And if you do not have, like, say, a profile summary, you do not have any of this information, and you only have very limited amount of information on your profile, then people do not spend enough time looking through your profile. People do not spend enough time getting to know you as a professional. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense to me. Hopefully it makes sense to the person who asked the question as well. But you explained it very clearly. Thank you, Sean.
Right. Do we have any more questions?
We do, but do you want to answer it now, or shall we wait till the end?
Yeah, more than happy to. Let's do that. Right. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to come back to the presentation. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so guys, we're moving on to the next half of this session. Cute dog, by the way. I didn't put up this image, but I thought it was really cute. So moving on, we're going to talk a little bit more on how do we help you build thought leadership? How do we help you build your voice on the LinkedIn platform? Now, LinkedIn is a social network platform, which makes it a content hub. So LinkedIn is now a place, rather than a place for you to just look for jobs, it's also a place for you to share your insights, your expertise, or even opinions with your professional community. So there are two great ways for you to share your professional perspective on LinkedIn, and I'm going to talk to you about that. And those two ways is as simple as sharing updates. So Facebook has that, you put on updates, you put in your thoughts, your personal thoughts. Can be, it can be something very personal, so on and so forth. But on the LinkedIn platform, when you share an update, you make sure you want to share something, some links, articles, images, quotes, or anything that is relevant. That means relevant to your own professional community, which will then drive traffic to your profile, which will also drive curiosity for people to learn more about who you are as a professional. And the second way of building thought leadership is to publish your own content. Now, this is something that is a little bit more advanced for you, for the audience out there, for anyone out there that loves to write. Feel free to, start writing your own content that really matters to you. Again, it has to be relevant to your professional community, but it can be something that is relevant to you. So if you're a new graduate, or if you're a fresh professional, if you're a professional entering the workforce, and if you want to talk a little bit more about your journey entering the workforce, feel free to write an article, go on the LinkedIn platform and publish it. Okay? And you can see people liking it, your connections liking it, and you can see them commenting on it, so on and so forth. Okay? But I want to show you some screenshots on how that looks like. So sharing an update can be as simple as going onto your newsfeed, and at the very top, just like Facebook, you can talk about whatever you want. So you'll see that a share box at the top when you sign into LinkedIn, and then you can do that, and you can post, you can share a picture, video, even articles, or even a certification that you just completed on the LinkedIn platform, whatever you want. The purpose of sharing, obviously, status updates is to make sure that you stand out from the crowd. Again, there was, earlier I showed you, 338,000 professionals, fresh grads on the LinkedIn platform. How do you make sure that you stand out from the rest of them? And this is the very simple way that you can do that. But let's talk a little bit more about that, okay? Some best practices. Well, first of all, try to share your authentic voice. LinkedIn is a platform where you can have your voice heard by your professional community. For that reason, be authentic, stay on the brand, and show up consistently. So when I use the word consistently, for user writer, you asked the question, how many times do I have to post on the LinkedIn platform? Well, I think some of the best practices that we are seeing on the LinkedIn platform so far is at least 3 times a week. But if you do not have a lot of content to show, to share, once a week or even twice a week is enough, or at the very least, once or twice a month. Make sure you post frequently. And by sharing frequently, you will create more opportunities for yourself and your content to be discovered. And pro tip, these are for people who are really organized. I'm not necessarily the most organized person out there, but I'm getting there. I'm working on it. You can go on your calendar, your phone, or your computer, add a reminder on your calendar to post something once a week or every day. Third, start a conversation. You can post something quick or snappy that engages your professional community. Something as simple as posing a question. Provide your perspective on current events or an article, or give an insider point of view. So say, for example, we know that COVID-19 has been the most popular topic in mind for most people. Now, on the LinkedIn platform, we've seen most people talk about COVID-19, how they impact their businesses, how it's changing organizations and their employees, the new way of working today. But oftentimes we're not hearing a lot about how COVID-19 is changing the job, how fresh graduates are looking out for jobs. So you can go on LinkedIn platform, share a question, or even post a question to your community and just ask them simple questions on, for you as a new graduate, how are you looking out for jobs? And are you finding any success, or what's your best practices out there? Something as simple like that, people will then reply to you and give you some advice. A lot of business leaders love to respond to questions like that. Fourth, include rich media if you can. So photos or videos to help your post stand out. The reason for that is because post that includes rich media tends to get more likes or comments. We live in the age of content, in the content world, so we kind of love to watch cat videos and so on and so forth. For LinkedIn, if you guys have any interesting videos, or even just a picture of you asking questions, or if you're a graphic designer and you want to share your work, feel free to put it on there and ask a simple question just like that. And last but not least, when you post a status update, think of the things you can share that will benefit your professional community. And this also goes the other way. Use those status updates to then get business advice from the professionals you care about, business leaders, so on and so forth. I talked a little bit about this in some of these points, but again, I just want to reiterate that whenever you post contents on there, it's a two-way thing. It's never just a one-way thing, okay? Okay, so now that we've talked through some of best practices around sharing updates, let's talk a bit about publishing on LinkedIn and how you can leverage on LinkedIn to share your own original voice, authentic voice, your own unique perspective and point of view on certain industry trends. Oh, by the way, I want to show you some examples on how people are sharing content on status updates, so on and so forth. So you can talk about your achievements, how you stand out from the rest of your peers, and this is how employers will take notice of you and learn about you quicker than your resume, than your CV. So this individual, Isa over here, she's from Top Glove and she's an industrial trainee. And she just shared that, she just completed her 3-year degree, 3.99 CGPA. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Even I didn't get 3.99 GPA. I'm impressed. So for you, you should be impressed as well. I mean, because this person is not shy to share about her achievement. Okay, the next thing is share about your growth stories. Growth stories are incredibly good ones. So for example, this individual, Audrey over here, he shared that in 2013, he was a pump attendant. In 2019, he managed to become an internship student for Petronas. So if you have a story like that that is inspiring, motivational, or even a lesson that you've learned in the past, a mistake that you've learned, share that. Because people, as we all know, love an inspiring story. Inspiring stories that we can cry on, such as, I just recently rewatched Crazy Rich Asian, and the ending and all that. It was such a touching scene. People love that. People thrive on that. If you're able to do something similar, if you have some stories to share, feel free to go on the LinkedIn platform, put that online. The next thing is, this is a person that I look up to. I've met her in person. Suzanne is the co-founder for this startup, Picture Eats. And Picture Eats is a startup, food delivery startup that is catered to, that is cooked, the food is cooked by refugees of Malaysia. So refugees from Syria, refugees from different parts of the world, and she's catering a market just for that. So she's never been shy to share about her passion, the vision for Picture Eats, and what driven her and her co-founder to even start the company. And last but not least, she also imparts her digital marketing knowledge on the LinkedIn platform from time to time. Now, most of us don't like to put pictures of ourselves on the LinkedIn online for that matter. Just like myself, I feel like that's too personal. So instead, you can opt to talk about your own work achievements. So the food purveyor is also known as not Giant Grocer. What's the green one? Can someone help me here? It's green in color. It's really fancy. Okay, I can't think of it, but someone just replied. Yeah, Village Grocer. So food purveyor is Village Grocer. As you can see, this individual over here, Pei Kim, is sharing about what's going on pre-renovation and post-renovation, how the grocery store actually looks like. And as you can tell, it looks great. So if you're not open to share pictures of yourself, you can share this. Okay, so moving on to publishing. Publishing content is a really great way for you to explore topics that matters to you, to share your own personal expertise, insights with your professional community. So remember, when you publish content on LinkedIn, whether or not you're comfortable with it, it doesn't really matter, but just remember these things. Every time you do publish a content, it becomes part of your profile. It gets shared with your network, and it reaches the largest group of professionals, over 706 million members globally. And once you publish the content, people can follow you to stay on top of what you say and post on LinkedIn. It's a great way for you to drive up your number of followers, and especially to establish your own credibility as a thought leader. So how this publishing works, I'll show it to you later, how it actually become part of your LinkedIn profile, but I want to show you how you can actually get started on that. So it actually is really similar to sharing updates. You can get started on your homepage as well, but instead of starting a post, you want to choose write an article. Okay, so let's talk a little bit of some quick tips on how you can bring your expertise front and center and have your voice heard on LinkedIn. So some best practices when it comes to publishing contents. First of all, you want to get just like any news article, you want to make sure you create a headline that captures, a headline that stands out. Ask yourself if you would click on it in your busy day, if it's interesting enough for you to click on it on your busy day. You want to make sure you include a cover photo as well. So, it can be something on Malaysia Day. It can be something on the topic that you're addressing, so on and so forth. And photos are a really great way to engage those people. People like interactive content rather than just words themselves. Okay. And earlier I did say that, rich media often get more views and comments and likes and then those without. Again, oh yeah, sorry, I didn't do that. And the third one is, again, be authentic. You want to show up as your authentic self. You want to make sure you use your own language. Don't worry about whether or not people can understand your words, but as long as people can really see and feel your authentic voice, that's all that matters. So this is a great place for you to share your experience, your expertise, even your views or insights, okay? Last but not least, you want to think about your audience. What do they care? What would they benefit from? So once you know that, you can then tailor your content to give it back to your professional community. And last but not least, you want to make sure that article length does matters. You can write a long form post. That's okay. But make sure it isn't too long, and make sure you also add rich media in it to break it down into different sections. The sweet spot for any article is about 600 to 1,000 words. And for you fresh graduates out there, for you who have been attending school, and I'm sure you've written a lot more thesis that is longer than 1,000 words. So 600, 1,000 words, I think that's a pretty easy job for you. So the best part about publishing content on LinkedIn is that you actually have the ability to keep track of metrics. And you can actually get real-time data on how people are engaging on your LinkedIn platform. So I'm gonna give you some examples, okay? So my colleague, Fiona, she's part of the LinkedIn Malaysia team as well. She's based out of Singapore. Every bi-weekly, she'll kind of like share what's going on in COVID-19, what's going on with the industry, and how LinkedIn can actually help them. And this is a great way for her to add value, not just to her own network, but to her own existing clients as well. And Gadi over here from boomboom.co, he shared a useful how-to guide on navigating loan deferments for the less financially savvy during COVID-19. So this is also a really great way, for someone, a business leader who has their own startup within the property industry, to share his own subject matter expertise on how to navigate the new normal. Last but not least, Ashley over here, she shares her experience as a dual enrollment student and how it may help other students make decisions to be or not to be a dual enrollment student. So dual enrollment means, she has 2 different degrees. She's taking 2 different degrees. Could be master's, could be a bachelor degree. But the point is, she's sharing some details, or she's sharing some guide, some best practices on how to navigate through a busy schedule, so on and so forth. So what I'm trying to say is that for you fresh graduates or professionals that are entering the workforce, there's all kinds of topics that you can tackle, as long as it stays relevant to your own professional community. Okay. All right. Again, you can simply keep track of how they're actually engaging with your content, real-time data. You'll be able to see what are the companies, people that where do they work, what companies they come from, what titles do they have, and what is the location of your biggest audience. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. I want to address some questions that we have. I want to make sure that we're not pressing for time. Okay, we're good. Zayana, do we have any questions?
Hi, yep,
So
we have
far?
a few.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one is, what if my past workplace and current university are not on LinkedIn? Does this affect people's trust towards me if I edit on my profile? Yeah.
Not necessarily. So obviously we want to add, you're absolutely right, Lokman. I think we would like to, as an employer, we would like to see credibility from the potential candidate. If the current university or the past workplace is not on the LinkedIn platform, that does impact that credibility. But it's all about, your experience over time. If you're talking about your past workplace, what about your current workplace? Are you working at a credible company? Or if your current university is not on the LinkedIn platform, perhaps you can reach out to them and get them to be on the LinkedIn platform. But yeah, trust is often built by the things that you can deliver. It's often not built by what's on your CV. Because your CV only means a very simple overview of who you are as an individual. What you do on a LinkedIn platform is what will build up your credibility. Say, for example, I'm going to stop sharing my screen again. I'm going to go back to my own personal profile. And okay, so this is my LinkedIn profile. And whenever I post something new, they will be able to see the articles that I posted or the updates that I posted. For example, Sulin over here, my colleague, she posted an update on a social impact initiative that she ran recently. And she tagged all her colleagues. And these are the pictures that she posted that she ran with some of the participants. And by posting all these little things on her own personal profile, I can then go to her profile and find out a little bit more about who she is as a professional. Or if I'm interested, I can look at some of the featured contents that she has tagged to her own profile. Or again, I can look at all the other contents, all the other activities that she's posted on the LinkedIn platform. And this oftentimes will add a lot more value when it comes to building up that credibility. Okay.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, because I personally have experienced it myself, like, working in a company that is not, I'd say on LinkedIn. So, it's not as, and it also kind of disrupts your kind of LinkedIn profile because there's no logo and it just makes it look weird in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at my personal profile as well, I ran a startup of my own, and that startup itself doesn't have a picture. So, for employees out there, when they look at this and they're like, oh, you know what, he called himself a co-founder of a startup, but there's no picture, there's no profile that I can find out a little bit more information. That doesn't. You're right. It doesn't really add a lot of credibility. But it's what I do on the LinkedIn profile after that adds more value to build that trust and credibility after that. So I would focus on if your past jobs, if your current university is not on the LinkedIn platform and they refuse to get on the LinkedIn platform, ask yourself, what can you do? What's within your own capacity to build that trust and credibility? Okay. Do we have another question?
Yes, we do. We have a few more questions, but I'll just go to maybe another one before we continue. Right. So I think it is cool when LinkedIn generally uphold honesty in setting up profile. Would LinkedIn try to do a virtual online vote for election in the future?
That's a good question, Hazim. I mean, I have my own personal reservations for that. I think it's a wonderful idea. But LinkedIn as a social network platform, we try to steer away from anything that has to do with politics, religion, or even race, so on and so forth. As compared to some of the social network platforms out there that have generated a lot of controversies due to topics like this, LinkedIn tries to steer away from that and focus more on our core value, and that is to connect the professional community around the world.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough. All right then. So we have a few more questions, but we'll leave it to a break that you need.
Sure. Yeah. I see that someone asked, what is that first or second symbol beside the person's profile? Let me quickly just show that really quick. So the first degree connection means my direct connection. Okay, someone that I've already extended a request of connection with, and that person has already accepted my connection. So all of these people here, they're all my first degree connection. However, if let's just say I click on Tracy, my colleague, and I go on to her network, and let's just say I'm not sure who these people are, I can click on. So these are all my second degree or my first degree connections. So people that I'm directly connected with, they're all my first degree connection. And connections of Tracy would then be my second degree connection. And people of the connections of that connections, that's the third degree connection. Basically, that's what it means.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That explains, yeah. Because I've always thought, is it like the first degree of? Are you doing like your first year in uni or second year in uni? But yeah.
No. Yeah, it just means different degrees of connection. That's all.
Cool. Great. Thank you.
Okay, so let's explore LinkedIn a little bit more as a social network platform. There's a lot of things that I'm happy to show you here. First of all, if you want to explore online events, so LinkedIn has a lot of online events. A lot of companies out there are hosting online events, conferences, so on and so forth. You can go on to my network and you can look at online events for you. Okay, some of them might be relevant to you. Some of them might not be the most relevant for you, but feel free to keep an eye out for the ones that will actually stand out and the ones that will actually add the most value to you. Okay. The second thing you can do, is you can also explore newsletters. So there's a lot of business leaders out there. There's a lot of organizations out there that are sharing newsletters that will also add a lot of value to your own professional development. For example, if you want to learn a little bit more about leadership, if you're very much interested to be part of the leadership team in the future, and you want to understand what are the key competencies that make a leader so successful in their daily, in their day-to-day, then you can follow something like a Leadership Vantage Point, and they will be sharing a lot of articles just on that, for example. Earlier, I talked to you guys about open to work. So this is one of the great features. It's actually a really new feature to make it really straightforward for our members to indicate they're open to explore new job opportunities. So for fresh graduates or professionals that are actively looking out right now, definitely take advantage of this function right here, and you'll be able to let people know that you're open to explore, or you can keep it under the wraps as well, but on the back end, recruiters will be able to find you. Okay. The next thing I want to show you is because we have 706 global members, and you know, each and every one person have their own unique name, unique pronunciation, and sometimes we find it really hard to pronounce each other's name. So to make it really simple for your connections to learn a little bit more about you, what you can do is you can also record your voice pronouncing your name so that your connections will then know a little bit more about you. It's actually a really great way to say if a recruiter reached out to you and scheduled an interview with you and you have to get on a phone call with this particular person. And when you get on a call, the recruiter will then find out how to pronounce your name correctly, which will then give you a really good indication that this person is, you know, has put in the effort to do a little bit more research about you as a candidate and find out a little bit more about how to pronounce your name right too. Okay, so just a really fun feature. I'd recommend, you know, if you have a difficult name or people often get your name wrong, definitely record your name there. Now, for individuals, for our members who are, for the people in this session who are actively looking out for jobs, but also want to learn how to prepare for a job interview better, LinkedIn actually and has been providing a free resource center for you to leverage on for many years now. But a lot of our members are not aware of this, so I'm going to quickly show this to you. If you go onto your homepage right now, you can go onto your job section, and instead of looking for jobs over here and putting in the positions, you can go to interview prep. And when you go on to interview prep, you'll be able to have access to all the latest tips and tricks on how to prepare for a job interview. And you know, for the sake of this session, we still have time, so I'm just gonna quickly show you how that looks like, okay? So this is, again, the LinkedIn dashboard. You can go to your home page, you click on jobs. Okay, and you want to go to interview prep. And here are, on the left-hand side, you see 26 common questions that recruiters always ask or hiring managers ask. Something as simple as, tell me about yourself, or what is your greatest strength, greatest weakness? And these three questions, oftentimes, they're such simple questions, trust me, but they also can be your, you know, one of the, if you don't get them right, it can also be your downfall. So make sure you prepare for it well. What LinkedIn really does is that we actually give you a video, share with you a video on how to approach this question correctly. Okay, and we can give you some sample questions that you can leverage on, but I highly recommend that, you know, sample answers are great, but make sure you always add your own twist. Make sure you share your own authentic voice rather than just copy and paste it. One thing that we also do is you can practice. That means you can record your own interview. You can record a video, and you can share it with some of your business connections out there. So some of your connections on the LinkedIn platform, and you can ask them to give you feedback. So if you have a business leader that you're close with on the LinkedIn platform and you want to get a feedback from them, you can answer these questions and you can just reach out to them and say, hey, please give me feedback on this question that I just answered. What can I do to improve myself? Or what is the best answer for me that will, how do I say it, impress you? Okay, so yeah, it's a great way. It's one of those small little tricks that most people don't know exist, but it's been there for years now. Highly recommend that you guys take advantage of that. Okay, going back to the presentation. Okay. Okay. This is the freebies that I want to share with you. For graduates out there or professionals looking out for new opportunities, if you want to kind of continue, you want to upskill yourself, or if you want to learn more relevant skills for the jobs that you're interested to apply for, feel free to go to opportunity.linkedin.com. We are providing free learning path, free learning courses to our LinkedIn members. And this is an initiative that we worked very closely with our parent company, Microsoft and GitHub. So if you're looking to be, say, a data scientist, if you're looking to be a digital marketing professional, if you're looking to be, say, it could be anything ranging from, I don't recall, but it's basically like learning path based on the 10 jobs that are highly in demand globally. So I know data scientist is one of them. If you're interested, go on opportunity.linkedin.com. Take a look at those learning paths. There are a range of LinkedIn learning courses as well as Microsoft courses that you can leverage on. Get some certifications, help you buff up your LinkedIn profile if you can, and then hopefully you'll be able to secure your next role. So congratulations, guys. I hope by now you're ready to take on the world, at least take on the world better than I did when I was younger. I did a lot of mistakes in the past, but the reason why I'm so excited to do this session with you guys is so that I can share some of the things that I wouldn't have done in the past, or some things that I can get started back then, but I didn't. And LinkedIn is oftentimes the very first thing that you should work to build, because in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years of your life, LinkedIn will really give you the ROI that you're looking for, really, really add value to your own professional development. But if you start it right now, then it's going to be a really time-consuming exercise for you. So work on it right now. This is where I'm going to end my session. I'm going to take on some more questions if you guys have. Zayana?
All right, yep, we have about 3 questions right here. I'll go
Okay.
with the question from Zoraida first.
Okay.
So she asked, you mentioned for sharing content, we should always make space for reciprocity. How do we ensure this other than just saying, drop your comments, thoughts below in the post?
Okay. Drop your comments or thoughts below is a pretty good way. It's a pretty good call to action. Or you can just say something as simple as, hey, let me know what you think. Would like to get some feedback on how, this is, you can say something as just doing some survey, or this is for my own personal gain. Would like to get some advices from business leaders. Just a simple call to action. You can, like I said, use your own authentic voice. It doesn't really matter. Drop your comments or thoughts below is good enough.
All right, cool. We actually have 2 questions on LinkedIn Premium. So, okay, the first one is, could you please give a brief overview on LinkedIn Premium, which is the categories, exclusive features, access to LinkedIn Learning, subscription cost, etc. And a question from Zoraida is that, is it worth it to invest in LinkedIn Premium?
Yeah, good question. So I think we can combine those 2 questions into one. Again, instead of me just telling you, I think it will add a lot more value if I just show it to you. So obviously, as a LinkedIn employee, I do have the premium access. And instead of just me telling you again, I can just show it to you what those premium features are. So what the premium feature can do for you is that we provide you a personalized insight. So you will have access to who are the people that actually viewed your profile. For example, Ayman just viewed my profile, and he is my third-degree connection. I believe Ayman is in this call.
Yeah, I think he asked a question as well just now.
Yeah, thank you, Ayman, for looking at my profile there. Really appreciate it. So as you can see, LinkedIn Premium actually gives you insight into who viewed your profile. LinkedIn also shows you jobs where you're a top applicant. Okay, so not just that, whenever you apply for a job on the LinkedIn platform, secret note, don't tell anybody out of this webinar session, or they might probably put me in trouble. I'm kidding. No, this is public information here. When you have a premium account and you apply for a job, the employers that post these jobs, the job poster will be able to see your resume first. So you will be placed on top of the pile of resumes that apply to that job posting.
Yes.
Okay, so you will be seen first before anything else. So other things is that if you want to find people, you want to build your connection, the premium account actually gives you a wider range of people to reach out to. So especially your third-degree connection that you do not have access to with your regular account, LinkedIn will actually give you that. Because with your regular account, there's only a limitation of how many people that you can view. But with the premium account, there's no limit. Okay. Last but not least, something that's incredibly important as well is LinkedIn Premium gives you access to LinkedIn Learning. So aside from the free learning courses that I shared with you, opportunity.linkedin.com, if you want to learn a little bit more about, say, procrastination, something that I suffer most, or if you want to learn a little bit more about business analysis, these are courses that were not included that are not found in the opportunity.linkedin.com site, then the premium account actually gives you free access to the LinkedIn Learning platform. So for you fresh graduates out there who are motivated, who proactively want to learn a little bit more, who want to upskill themselves, feel free to leverage on the premium account. I'm not sure what is the price for it. I believe it's around 200 Malaysian ringgit per month, give or take. But yeah, if you have the necessary resources, if this is something that you can afford, definitely recommend you fresh graduates out there to purchase it. So what I'll do for you guys, I only have a limited amount of licenses that I can give out. So I have 2 free licenses that I can give out to the people in this session today. I'll leave that with Zayano to pick out 2 individuals to reach out to me. And then I'll provision them free access to this premium account, okay?
Right. Do we want to?
I'll leave that with you. I'm gonna put you on the spot. I'm gonna let you pick, and then just let me know who are these 2 people, and then I'll just provision them the access to the free premium access. And these free premium access lasts for 6 months, yeah? So after 6 months, you will lose access to it, but make sure, if I do provision you that access, I hope that you do use it to its full potential.
All right. Okay, we have about 15 minutes. Do you want to do like a question? Whoever answers the fastest would be able to get it.
I didn't prepare a question though, so how about this? I do not have a question. I did not prepare a question.
That's okay. We could come up with one right now.
Okay. Yeah, how about this? We can whoever by the end of this week is able to create an all-star profile, and we can pick the 2 best all-star profile, and I'll provision access to them.
Sure. And okay, yep. And they could email that to either seats. So that is graduate at seats job fair. I will just put it in the group chat.
Yeah,
And yep, and they'll be able to email it to either TalentCorp or seats, and we will send it over to you, Sean.
sounds good.
Great. By the end of the week, that'll be on Sunday or Friday.
That's fine. I'm always available. So
All right.
yeah. So good luck, guys. You know, definitely work on that profile. I don't have a quiz for you, Hazim, but you know, Zayana, do you have any questions that you want to ask? A series of questions. This is something that we should have prepared, but we didn't. So yeah.
Yep, that's all. Oh, so actually, Wang Lokyo actually suggested that we take advantage of the 1 month free trial on LinkedIn Premium. So yeah, so if everyone who's listening should do that, make use of it. Yeah. And I'll just get Ayman to help me add in the emails, and maybe Sunday by noon we will hope to get emails from those who will be able to get an all-star on their LinkedIn. Email it to us, and then we will pass it to Sean. Great. All right. So we have about 2 more questions. We have one question from Hazim. Okay. Some people got their account hacked. How to clean their name, especially when porn websites come up?
I'm not sure how I can help you with that because if you have a hacked account, I would recommend that you just raise a request to our support team to do that. And really simply, if you need help there, you just gotta go to, I'm not sure how you can do that actually. Yeah, you can just go to help over here and you just gotta tell them that, you know, you would like to regain access to your account. That's the best way. That's the best way for me. That's pretty much the only way you can go around to regain access to your account. Aside from the rest of that part, I'm not sure. Never had that before.
It's all right. We'll try it. All right, cool. The last question that we have is that is it weird to connect with someone you don't know or have a connection with?
Yeah. Yeah. Great question. Great question. In the beginning, it's always going to be weird. In the beginning, it's going to be something that is, you know, this is something that is fairly new. Building connections with someone, networking with someone that you don't know. But you know, you won't get to where you want in your career unless you really ask for it. So I would say, you know, really pick and choose who are the people that you want to build a connection with. When you send them a connection request, say for example, Ziana, am I a connection with you? I don't think I am.
Oh,
No.
that's not me.
Is this
no.
you? No.
Nope,
Okay.
that's not me. My last name is Zach A.K.A.
Zach A.K.A.
Yep,
that's me. So Zayana, obviously you're my second degree connection, and we're not connected so far. If I want to connect with you, I can just quickly send you a connection request. I can also add a personal note if I want to. A personal can be something as simple as, hi Zayana. Appreciate, really nice hosting a webinar with you this afternoon. Hope to connect. Something as simple as this, or you can write something a little bit more lengthy. You know, you can simply ask, what would you like to get out of this person, business advice, or even career advice, so on and so forth. And you can just send a connection request just like that. So yeah, don't feel weird. It might feel weird at the beginning, but as you progress in your career, try to get more comfortable with it.
Sounds good. Thanks for connecting with me as well.
Yes, no worries.
We have about 5 minutes left. So we have a question from Zoraida and Hazim as well. Yep. I'll just get the question from Zoraida first. Looking back to how you started your career, what would you have done differently in your personal branding online and physically?
All right. That's a really good question. Looking back at how I started my career and looking at where I'm at today, I will give you 2 words. I will leave you 2 words. I know everyone has a different philosophy on how they want to build their career, but for me, it's going to be aggressively patient. be aggressive in your pursuit of success, but at the same time, be really patient, because gaining skill sets, gaining that experience does take time. It doesn't just happen overnight. Another thing that I would do is, if you want to talk the talk, make sure you walk the talk as well. So again, surround yourself with the right people, build those experience, hustle hard, and whenever you want, if you want people to see you for who you are as a subject matter expert, make sure you have the necessary background, make sure you have the track record to show for it. Don't, instead of going around scream and shout about how amazing you are as a professional, let your work do the talk for you.
Right. Sounds good. Sounds good. So key points is that surround yourself with great people and be aggressive and patient.
Correct.
All right. So last question is from Hazim. Does LinkedIn have any feature for market salary? I think, for example,
yeah, good question. Yeah. I think this is a question a lot of my clients ask me as well. So this is not something new. Hazim, LinkedIn does have a feature for market salary, but it's not available to Malaysians right now. It's only available to 2 markets, that is the United States as well as Australia. The reason for that is because the market maturity in the United States is, obviously there. We're at a almost 90% and above maturity, whereas in Malaysia we're only at a 70% going, hopefully reaching up to 80% maturity rate. So the fact that we have these features being rolled out in the United States and Australia, it's only a matter of time it will show up here.
All right. Final question: is there any potential of job scamming exists in LinkedIn jobs? So potential of job scamming in LinkedIn.
Not that I heard of. Not that I heard of. I'll be really honest with you. I know that it exists in the job market. I've heard of stories like that, but in terms of LinkedIn, I'm not aware of that.
Right. That's good to know.
And again, LinkedIn is, we are a trusted platform, and that's how we want to build our identity around, and that is trust and credibility. So in terms of job scamming, that is something that we really want to avoid. If it does happen, we try to address it immediately. But as far as I know, there's no such thing on the LinkedIn platform.
Cool, great. All right, then I think we are out of questions. And yeah, I think we can probably end the session. Do you have any kind of final remarks or anything, Sean?
No, I think Zoraida asked a really good question. I was going to end with that anyways, but she kind of asked the question, and I just, that's all I have for today. Thank you very much for having me. For the attendees in this session today, again, feel free to reach out to me on the LinkedIn platform, and really do work on your LinkedIn profile. Get it to All-Star. Submit it to the email that Zayana shared. And I'll be sure to assign to provision you guys the 6 months premium access. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Sean. It's such an honor to have you today, and I've definitely learned a lot, and I could probably say the same for all the audience as well. Definitely posting whatever I've learned on my LinkedIn, and we'll tag you. Cool.
All right. Thank you, Zayana. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of our SVP cycle to 2020. So on behalf of the organizing team from TalentCorp and Seeds Job Fair, we would like to express our deepest gratitude to everyone who made this event happen. A gentle reminder to all participants is to fill out the feedback form to help us improve in the future sessions, and do share your experiences online. So don't forget to tag us when you do. So that's all from me and the team. Until next time, take care.